Namaste ji. Hope everyone is doing well and making best use of this isolation. Well, I have some queries. First, I'll read them out very quickly and then try to explore. This is from Purush Channa. I'll go straight to the question. This is from Truth Eternal. He writes, some lines in chapter Karma are not understood. Please help me to improve my understanding. Lines are as follows. Those who do not know the status of God and their own status and worship God not with their own but God's viewpoint, to them Vishnu becomes Rudra and makes them weep. From the same chapter, Sister Richa Agarwal, she has a question. Number 1. All the three bodies are organized and systematized by the combination of atoms only. Therefore, the attributes, actions, habits, or svabhava are formed according to these atoms. It is taken from chapter number 2, Karma, page number 21, last page. Another question. Does it mean we have difference in structure, quality, potency of causal body inside? What is the quality and potency here? Okay. Another question. How to swa-adhyaya? In reference to above question, I have come across another question. So there is never-ending chain of questions in this. When we start, it becomes Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, let's say. So we go straight to that chapter from Truth Eternal. Last time we explored also on Nara Pashu, Guru Pashu, Veda Pashu, Sri Pashu, how we enslave ourselves when we externalize our approaches, when we approach Guru from external viewpoint. Our struggle to be in the physical vicinity, hoping that will grant us final realization, then we are mistaken. This is too external. Of course, in association, we learn something. But after all, we have to interiorize whatever has been put forward to us. External association can build a bond. It's a beginning. But the end is always with us, within us. It's not outside us. Similarly, when we worship God, goddesses, deities, who are external to us, they can motivate, they can increase our faith, they can increase our devotion perhaps because of our worship. But finally, it is my love, it is my faith, that entity which is within me. No, we have often pondered over this in a very serious manner, how when soul incarnates, for the first time when baby is born, and mother has the baby in her lap, baby continues to cry. It's a sign. Mother is happy for the first time, so happy that baby is crying. It's great. It's a sign that soul, the life force, the self with capital S, has come along. Atman has come along. Without this Atman, there would not be any breathing. Baby would not cry. It's a sign. And this signature continues on. It remains with us until we breathe our last. That entity is within us. It's not outside us. seeking for this entity that dwells within, we call Antaryamin, and trying to seek that entity outside will only defeat the purpose. You are giving credits to the external, but the actual credits actually goes to this inner deity that is within us. So, doesn't matter whom you worship outside, be it Vishnu, be it Shiva, be it Krishna, be it Ganapati, be whosoever it be. Ultimately, they will have to be felt within ourselves. And this they, the multiplicity, will become one. It will all be unified when we experience that entity as oneness within. If we make our approach externalized, there is the danger of attributes, danger of being grateful. It's like all your life your wife has been serving you. All through your childhood your mother worked and slogged trying to raise you. If you don't know this much, then it's a bigger tragedy, you see. Instead of giving credits to your mother or to your spouse, and you continue to give credits to somebody else for your happiness, how would your mother or your spouse feel? The entity, Antaryamin, is within us. And we keep on worshipping, adoring, revering, surrendering to all those external things. Then the purpose will be defeated. Then the same entity whom we worship, Lalaji writes, this is based on Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It's a dialogue between 4 or 5 individuals or many individuals. That's why it is called forest of knowledge. Forest of knowledge is scattered here and there because there are so many dialogues related to soul and God, our interrelationship between the self and the higher self, Brahman and the universe. Here the main character is Yagyavakya. And many other characters comes into the picture like Gargi, Maitreyi, Gautama, Rāja Janaka, and many other great stalwarts of those days who were talking, discussing at length on consciousness. Well, anyway, during one of those conversations with his wife, Maitreyi, he puts before her many questions. One of them, he asks Maitreyi, do you know why wife loves her husband? It's not for the sake of husband, but for her own sake. Do you know why husband loves his wife? Not for his sake. Not for the sake of wife, but for the sake of himself. He loves his children for the same reason, for the self. Without the self, nothing is possible. It is not selfishness. It is that in loving the other, the self is recognized. Self finds its purpose. Without this purpose, that self will be lost. It will form only complexities and impurities. There is another argument here between Yagyavakya and Maitreyi. I'll read that to you here. O Maitreyi, those who know Brahma, Ishwar, Veda, sons, and the Atma, not with their own viewpoint, but the viewpoint of Brahma, Ishwar, etc., are destroyed by them. So this is a similar connotation when we talked of this Narapashu, Guru Pashu, and other things. Similarly, the same connotation applies here. He says, those who do not know the status of God and their own status and worship God not with their own but with God's viewpoint, to them Vishnu becomes Rudra. Ultimately, what is it that confuses us? What is it that destroys our intelligence? It challenges our intelligence. When we start externalizing the whole thing, when you have found that this is the self, then all the rest ends there. The self merges it. And when that self merges in the ultimate, there is no more quest left. And if you are still looking for something after that, that will be a tragedy. Actually, it will not happen. Thus, all the questions will be resolved. Why does Vishnu becomes Rudra? Because you have not understood him. You kept on following. Imagine someone after whom you have invested so much, and that person is not understood by you. Even after that, even after many years of association, there is no harmony. There is no recognition. That person remains misunderstood. Similarly, here too, Vishnu remains misunderstood. You don't become one with that. And because of that, you remain under illusion. And this illusion will destroy us the way Rudra would. So the key is in understanding, realizing the truth within ourselves. You see. If that doesn't happen, we remain slave to this external world. Even mind is considered to be too external to the real self. Though the mind is ours, it is my mind, but it is still miles away from my real self. Body is still too far from my real self, though the self is within the body. But it is not limited to this body itself. It has its own expansion. So let's not go on insulting this inner deity that is within us. Moment we find heartfulness way, Sahaj Marg way of our practice, and when we begin to go inward, what first happens? Whenever we go inward, after each session, we find immense peace. Why? Because that is natural thing that is to happen when we go inward. There is no any other explanation except to say you are doing just the right thing. Doing the right thing grants you peace. Doing wrong thing grants you restlessness. Whenever we externalize things, you become restless. You move away from your center of your being. Let us say even ego, when we consider as external to the real self, you become arrogant. You identify yourself with this lower self called ego. You become restless. Though you might prevail because of your arrogance, but you remain restless, you lose peace of mind and you lose harmony. When you are too busy with your mind, thinking, even during meditation, that will not grant you peace. This is another proof that mind is still external to our real self. When we are too obsessed with our bodies, similar problem happens. Obsession with the body makes you restless. How do I look today? How is my hair? How is my beard? You are too busy with all this external. Not that you want to look ugly, but preoccupation, obsession will make you restless. Your attention goes outward. Your identification is away from the self. That is destructive. No one becomes Rudra actually. No Vishnu would waste his time in destroying us. Ultimately, it is us who is destroying the self. Destruction is not in the way we understand destruction, but we remain unmerged. Until merger happens, nothing creative can happen. So, the key is, after all these things that we have discussed, this last time's discussion on Nara Pashu, Guru Pashu, Veda Pashu, and then here the idea of Vishnu becoming Rudra, and here again, when we start looking from the other's perspective and not from the self, then we are inviting trouble. That's why this interiorization is so important for a heartfulness practitioner. That as we move on, we have to first study ourselves, absorb what has been given, analyze what is blocking this absorption. What are those traits that is creating problem? So we have to become our own critic. We have to inspire ourselves also through this criticism and bring about or enforce certain changes willingly. So this study of the self, I have to study myself. I have to study my nuances. Where have I gone wrong? That is Swa Adhyay. So I think with this we end. It's time to begin our group meditation. So let's all meditate. And thank you for joining. Please start meditation. That's it. To clarify the point further, where we don't seem to understand Vishnu becoming Rudra, or God that tries to preserve us, is trying to destroy. No one is trying to destroy. In reality, all this created, preserved, and yet to be destroyed, they're all within us. We are responsible for everything that we do. Whenever we externalize all this creator, preserver, and destroyer outside us, to give an example, to make it clearer, when we think of the master, how do you think? He's always external to you, no? Oh, he's like this, I'm doing it for him. So there is still this dvandva, me and him. Dualities exist. When you are crossed with your master, what happens at that time? Oh, that SOB, you may start cursing him also. He's such a fool, he doesn't know what to say, he doesn't know what to do. All these allegations can come only when we have externalized that entity. But when he is internalized, would you curse your inner self? Would you curse your own child? I don't think so. Even if your child is the ugliest, you will still treat it with adoration. Put the whole thing in a different way. Suppose you are crossed with your master, and let us say for a moment he becomes like a Rudra. But if you are right, no Vishnu or no Rudra or no Shiva can destroy you, because you are right. You are the truth. And this truthful feeling arises only from within your heart. It doesn't come from outside. Just as peace, contentment, courage, like this feeling of truthfulness, goodness, generosity, all these things, it comes from within. And when they are within, it's part of our existence. No one can destroy it. It is only when we externalize all these things that they become destructible. Faith in someone, trust in someone, they're all because of relationships. A stage comes during our journey where Babuji describes there are 3 stages. At one particular chakra, I think if I'm not mistaken, it is at the chakra number 8. 3 stages unfold little by little. But the seeds of these 3 stages are already laid while we were at the second point. And this is all about when we feel the presence of Almighty within ourselves. Peace becomes supreme within us. And when we move to the 8th point in Brahman Mandal, where the feeling Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. But that's not enough. As it matures, we start feeling all is Brahman. It's not only that within myself, this Antaryamin, this Brahman, but all are Brahman. Even Rudra is Brahman, even Vishnu is Brahman. And all are from Brahman. So there is no differentiation. This is the beauty of Sahaj Marg. You see, where Lalaji has understood the path and explained in certain way. Babuji has elevated our understanding by explaining through his experiences that there is no Rudra outside you. Once you recognize that Brahman within and the fact that all are Brahman and everything around us is from Brahman, then all these dualities or dvandvas or opposites automatically are dissolved. Question doesn't remain then. Sister Richa had asked another question on potency and quality. We'll take that up next time. Thank you.